New Orleans Saints versus Carolina Panthers preview and prediction, ladies and gentlemen, Pro Football Focus. All right, there's a game this Sunday in Carolina. Okay, I'll be live streaming, by the way. I know we didn't last week because of my sister's birthday, but this week I will be live streaming against the Carolina Panthers against the Saints. So if you're watching the game, might as well watch it with the face of their franchise. Okay. Panthers coming off of a big win against the Packers. Saints coming off of a despicable loss against the Los Angeles Rams. Cross country, LA, now Carolina. Second time we've done this. We played Seattle, then went to Buffalo. Tough scheduling spot, but we'll talk about it in detail with the PFF boys.
The New Orleans Saints traveling to Carolina.
Yeah.
To take on the Carolina Panthers here. 5-4 Carolina Panthers. Don't you forget it, Dalton. You want to start talking about the Panthers? You want to talk about the Saints?
Trevor, you know I would never forget about a Carolina Panthers team with a winning record.
We would never.
We would never forget about them. So we're going to talk about this defense. And look, there's places they've improved, and there's still a little bit they need to work on. The run defense has been better. There's times where it's wavered, right? Not a great game against the Buffalo Bills, but I think the run defense is certainly better than the historically poor performance they gave last year. The coverage has been better, right? Ejiro Evero in these zone coverages, Mike Jackson, J.C. Horn, Trayvon Merrick with an interception last week, right? I think you're looking at a secondary that's coming together a bit week to week. Now what I'm looking for is a pass rush, right? And this Panther team really just has not put it together yet, especially.
Let's take a look at last week. I want to show you this with the Packers. So big win, right? Carolina against Green Bay at Green Bay. Carolina wins 16-13. I'm not going to say this is a fugazi win. Bryce Young had 102 yards and interception, kind of a whatever game. Team stats, Carolina 265 to 369 on yards. Carolina 4.9 yards per play to 5.9 yards per play. So they lose YPP by a full yard. Now they lose the total yards. They have 102 passing yards. They win the turnover battle, which y'all knew was coming. They win +1, so they have an interception, but they get a fumble and a interception. And they lose time of possession. So this is one of those games where it's like, how the hell did they win? What if I told you also the Packers never punted? What if I told you the Packers at home would win the first downs, they would have 9 more plays, they would win total yards, they had 1 more yard of YPP. They had 163 more yards of passing. They had 4.2 yards on the ground for 104 total yards. They had more time of possession, and they never punted. You'd be like, damn, they beat the holy hell out of the Panthers, right? Well, didn't happen. Red zone, 1 for 5 in the red zone. They had the pick. They had a fumble. They had, I think, at least 1 missed field goal. Ugly stuff, okay? So Carolina, a win's a win, but it's not like Carolina went and dominated the Green Bay Packers. Now, who is dominating and who is changing all of this for Carolina is Rico Dowdle. When Bryce Young doesn't have to do anything because Rico Dowdle is running for 206 yards, 183 yards, 130 yards, that'll do it, right? It doesn't matter what the rest of this team is doing whenever you can control the game like this. Whenever you can run the football like this. So it's easy for what the Saints have to do. Now, Dowdle is hurt right now. He was limited, or he didn't, I don't know if he participated yesterday. We'll see. This is something you absolutely have to look for in the injury report whenever this game is coming up. If Rico Dowdle can't go, that's a big deal because currently he is everything for this team. He is making it to where Bryce Young can win games, throwing for 101 yards or whatever it was. So Dowdle is it. The Saints have to sell out and stop the run. If Bryce Young beats you, Bryce Young beats you. But you have got to stop Rico Dowdle. Now, at times, the Saints' run defense has been good. At times, it has been horrible. Which version will we get?
Actually, when it comes to their 4-man rush, they still have the 3rd lowest pass rush grade in the league. They have the 2nd lowest pressure rate in the league, 4th lowest pass rush win rate. Who is it going?
Good news. This is good news for the New Orleans Saints. Tyler Shough, you don't want him under pressure. This offensive line, not great, but facing no pass rush at all after they were just facing one of the best pass rushes, Good news for the Saints.
Going to be against this young and banged up Saints offensive line? Who's it going to be that gets a pass rush together for this team? Is it going to be Derek Brown on the inside? A'Shawn Robinson? Nick Scorton's got 9 pressures over the last 3 games. Maybe it's him. 9 pressures and 3 sacks in the last 3 games. The rookie out of Texas A&M. I think somebody's got to find a pass rush for the Panthers in this game. They got a really good opportunity to do so. And small sample, but Tyler Shough only a 27.5 passing grade under pressure this year. Now, that is a small sample, but that was always kind of the criticism of him coming out of Louisville and playing at Texas Tech before that, was under pressure. This guy doesn't make nearly as good of decisions as he does when he's clean. He doesn't have a whole lot of answers outside the pocket. So I think the Panthers getting pressure on Tyler Shough in this game. Shough, it was really hard to judge him last week against the Rams because he was never on the field. But I think if you can rattle him in the pocket, you're at a big advantage. The Panthers have to find a way to do that, whether it's Derek Brown and the veterans on the inside or some of those young kids off the edge.
You know, when you look at the Panthers, this is a team that, especially on the offensive side of the ball, because I'm moving to the offensive side for them now. It's been very up and down with passing, certainly with Bryce playing a little bit banged up. I mean, last week they got the victory, but Bryce was not very explosive.
He sucks. All right? No hate, respectfully, but Bryce Young sucks. All right? Make Bryce Young beat you.
Struggled. I think you could tell that he's playing through some pain there. So I don't really know what to expect of the passing game because I don't know how much better Bryce is going to look. He clearly was good enough for them to get a win last week, but he wasn't really the reason why they won. It's the run game, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
that's why
specifically
Rico
Dowdle. Well, the offensive line, I got to give them their kudos too. They got guys banged up. They got guys in and out of lineup. They just continue to play very, very well as a unit, no matter who is in there along the offensive line. But Rico Dowdle, since week 5, Dalton, most carries in the NFL, most rushing yards in the NFL, most missed tackles forced in the NFL, most yards after contact, and he is second in total first downs gained on the ground behind only
he's been insane.
Jonathan Taylor.
I drafted Chuba Hubbard in fantasy. Damn it.
Dowdle's been fantastic, and I think there's reason to believe that he could also have a good game this game. Saints, since week 5, though, probably a better run defense team than maybe you would expect. They're 12th in EPA per rush allowed, and they're 10th in overall team run defense grade while facing the most run defense snaps of any team during that time.
Yeah, the Saints are weird because the Saints have been good against the run, except when they haven't. And then they've been horrible against the run. Like the Saints were great against the run, and then the Bears game happened. And it's like, what the hell what just took place? And then the Rams game happened, which, but this is a team that, in theory, can stop the run. It really just is a question of like week to week. It's like, will they? We know they can, but we also know that for some reason they can just put up an absolute stinker.
All of that to say, I kind of get the vibe that it's going to be a big Chuba Hubbard day. I really do.
God, I hope
there was talk of him being on the trade block. Is he going to Kansas City? Is he going to go to New England? Like, where could Chuba Hubbard be on the move? You don't need him. You can get out of that contract. You got Rico Dowdle. You're totally fine. You could trade him, and they don't. And I think that they're gonna make a statement. Like I'm
pretty sure they've. Unless Trevor knows something I don't know, but I'm pretty sure they came out and said like, no, we're just gonna rock and roll with Rico Dowdle. Like they've pretty much made the call. Now, if Dowdle's hurt, that changes things. Then all of a sudden, Hubbard will probably get way more volume. But I'm pretty sure he's so emphatic with this that it's making me think that I mishear something. But I'm pretty sure the Panthers have come out and said, like, no, we're just going to ride with Rico Dowdle. He's the starting running back.
I don't think, for as much as head coaches and teams go, we don't listen to that crap from outside of the building, they hear it. It would almost be impossible to not. And so I got a feeling that there's a little bit something extra in Chuba Hubbard this week. I think that there's a little bit something extra in the game plan, and I think there's a little bit more of a motivation from Dave Canales, from Bryce Young, from the offensive line, from everybody to say, hey, you're our guy. And Chuba Hubbard has not had more than, I think it's 73 yards was the most that he has had in a single game this season. He's only rushed for more than 50 yards twice all year. 17 yards last week and 34 yards the previous week. 31 if you want to go back to the last 3 games they played. So it's been a quiet season for him, but now he's back from that injury. And I really do think that they are going to make it a statement for him to get involved, and we're going to see the best Chuba Hubbard game that we have seen yet this year from him. And it's close. It's a divisional game. It typically is 23-20. is what I'm going with here. It's the final score here, but I think the Panthers win this one.
I have Carolina as well. I think this Saints team, they just don't travel on the road very well, and I do think when you have some of those, the X factors I keep talking about for the Panthers any given week are their run defense, and then the play of Bryce Young, obviously. Wasn't great last week against the Packers, got away with it, made throws when he needed to, and they wound up winning a game, a big road game against a very good team. I think the Panthers get out of here 6-4 as well, and what a story we would have if they're 6-4 going down into the stretch here. Panthers 24, Saints 17.
Whew. 6-4. I mean, they'd be on Tampa's heels at that point, right? Because if Tampa...
I like the Saints in this game. I'm not saying the Saints are going to win the game, but +6, I like the Saints because it's just such a fugazi spot for the Panthers off the Packers win. I mean, it's that easy. And you have Dowdle's hurt. Will it be Hubbard? The Saints have a sneaky run defense. I think it's just one of those things where if I wasn't a Saints fan, and you're a Saints fan, so you're like, I can't back this team. This team sucks. But if I was looking at it from the outside in, I would circle this game as like, man, this is a smash spot to take the Saints. +6. Division game. Panthers, like I said, coming off of a fake win. Saints look bad. Panthers' best players hurt. Yeah, I think it's just a really good spot to take that +6. Now, does that mean they're going to win? I don't know. But it means that I think they could keep it close. I also think Tyler Shough could have a big game. I think Shough could, because, again, he was so limited just from how much they had the ball. I mean, 16 minutes. That is crazy. That's the 13th lowest amount of time of possession in NFL history. So if you give them a full game script, who knows what Tyler Shough can do? And the Panthers also don't pressure the quarterback, which is really good for Tyler Shough. So this kind of lines up to be a great game or a great situational spot for Tyler Shough and the Saints offense. Now, they lose Rashid Shaheed, sure. They lose Trevor Penning, who cares? So you got to factor that in as well. But, I'm leaning heavily towards the Saints +6. Let's take a look at some DVOA stuff. So if we go to DVOA, just total DVOA here, the Panthers are 25th. The Saints are 31st. All right. If you look at offensive DVOA, let's see here, ladies and gentlemen. If you look at offensive DVOA, come on, guys. Oh, there we go. If you look at offensive DVOA, the Panthers are 25th. Saints are 29th. If you look at pass DVOA, the Panthers are 30th, and the Saints are 26th. Wouldn't have guessed that, right? Wouldn't have guessed that the Saints actually have a higher passing DVOA than the Panthers. If you look at run DVOA, though, the Carolina Panthers are 9th. All right, and the New Orleans Saints are 31st. Big discrepancy there. Again, it's going to come down to, can you stop Rico Dowdle? Because that's not Carolina 9th. That's Rico Dowdle 9th. They just talked about Chuba Hubbard, how he hasn't done much of anything. So can you stop him if he is even healthy? All right, defensive DVOA, the Panthers are 20th. The Saints are 23rd. Relatively similar there. Pass DVOA, the Panthers are 22nd. The Saints are 26th. Relatively similar there. Rush DVOA, the Saints are 13th. The Panthers are 18th. All right, so that's where we're sitting right there. So, yeah, I think 6. You got to take the Saints. It's all about. It's an easy handicap, right? It's stop Rico Dowdle, stop the Panthers running game, and can Tyler Shough do something against a really weak pass rush? That's how this game is going to be decided. I think it will be a very close game. The Saints have been really bad really bad on the road. Hopefully this is different. I'm excited to watch this game because it is that stretch of games for the Saints where we know what they are against the Seahawks. We know what they are against the Bills. We know what they are against those teams. What are they against the Panthers, the Jets, the Titans? What are they against those teams? And that's going to really show us something with some of these players. It doesn't matter as far as the season's concerned, but if the Saints can't do anything, if the Saints look against the Panthers how they looked against the Rams, then we got big problems. But if they get smoked by the Rams and smoked by the Seahawks, and then they play the Giants, Titans, Jets, Panthers, Dolphins, if they play them close / win some games, it gives us a better idea of where they are in the NFL. But this one, I'm excited to watch this game. I got high hopes for this team. I'm not going to say this is a game they should win because they shouldn't win any game, right? Like they're bad enough to where they could lose any of them. But this is absolutely a game where they can win. This is absolutely a game where you can get right. And Devon Vele should be a big part of that. This should be the game where he really steps up. We're going to do our betting preview later on once some injury report stuff comes out. But I have a feeling we're going to be all over Devon Vele stuff. So can't wait for this game. I'll be live streaming the entire thing on Sunday. Be there or be square. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.